Hello and welcome back to another week here at Knack Kitchen, where today we are making a TikTok recipe, which is the baked feta pasta. The recipe has been making rounds all over the internet in recent times, and it was about time that I gave it a try as well. So without wasting any more time, let's have a look at my attempt at the baked feta pasta. So the first thing that we will do is take some extra virgin olive oil, and to that we'll add some freshly sliced garlic, and I like to add a few dried herbs. These are optional but highly recommended. So here I have some red chili flakes, some dry oregano and some Italian seasoning. Now you can use any herbs of choice, whichever flavors you prefer. Just mix it all in and let this mixture sit for at least 30 minutes. The longer you keep it, the better it is, so you can even make this the night before. So now for the tomatoes, I'm using regular tomatoes because I can't find cherry tomatoes where I live. And accordingly, I slice the tomatoes into small pieces. The smaller you keep it, the better they will roast in the oven and they'll be easier to mash and make a smooth sauce. So I went ahead and added my block of feta cheese right in the middle, and then I added our infused oil. Now in hindsight, I feel that you can first add at least half the oil to the tomatoes. That way it will just be easier to mix the tomatoes with the oil and ensure that all of your tomatoes are coated in the oil. Because as you're going to see here, I had to be very careful, and it just took an extra 3-4 minutes, but either way is fine. And once we've just mixed all of the tomatoes with the oil, we're going to go ahead and season this with some salt, some pepper, and then we're also going to add about an extra teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil directly on the cheese. That way the cheese will just roast nicely in the oven. So now this goes in a preheated oven for about 35 minutes, and in the meanwhile we'll prepare our pasta. So once our pasta water comes to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add some salt, and then we'll add our pasta. Today I'm using whole wheat penne, but you can use whichever pasta you have at hand, and then cook it according to the package instructions. Mine took about 15 minutes, and then we're just going to strain this out and reserve about a quarter cup of the pasta water just in case. So our feta cheese and tomatoes are out of the oven and they look absolutely glorious. And once it's just cooled down a little bit, we're going to go ahead and add some freshly plucked basil leaves. If you don't have fresh basil, you can use dried basil over here. And then we're just going to mash the cheese and mix it with the tomatoes and form our sauce. This to me is a very therapeutic process. I love doing this. It's just very relaxing. And before you know it, you'll have this beautiful emulsion. And to that, we're going to go ahead and add our pasta. And once you mix in the pasta, now since my baking dish was a little too small, it was a little cumbersome for me, but you just have to mix this in. You can use a larger container, and once everything has been mixed in, our baked feta pasta is ready to be served. So here you have my interpretation of a baked feta pasta. It is absolutely delicious and super easy to make. The flavors are amazing. The feta cheese and the tomatoes make such a beautifully rich sauce. It's definitely worth a try. And on that note, I'm going to give this pasta a try right now, and I know that it tastes absolutely amazing. I'm editing right now, but I'm still salivating at the very look of it. It's just that good. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please do give a like, do share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so very much for watching, and I'm gonna see you next week.